Superboy number 21, written by Justin Jordan, art by R.B. Silva and Edgar Salazar. So, last issue, Superboy decided to team up with Dr. Psycho to hunt down Hive, because somehow we managed to get there. This issue picks up with a single page deep in the Arctic. Crypto is facing down some polar bears. He growls back at them, and they run away. That happened. So then we pick up back in Superboy's apartment, and Dr. Psycho is looking over his, murder board with all of his paper clippings and strings and such. And Superboy's bored out of his mind, and Dr. Psycho's like, look, here's the thing. This is every instance of psychic stuff that can't be explained, and you better bet Hive is also looking at this stuff. And so he's basically saying, all right, now that I have an idea as to what I'm looking for, I will use my astral projection and I will go out and search for it. Please protect my body. And Superboy's like, whatever, man, I'm not even a part of this anymore. So Dr. Psycho goes out into town and he comes across a girl and he says, Sarah? But mind you, he's astral projecting so nobody can see him, except Sarah can see him. And she's like, oh, who are you? And he's like, oh, how are you able to see me? And then she says, please don't hurt me. And he's like, no, don't worry about it. I'm not going to hurt you. And then it turns out that she's not looking at him. She's looking at this giant skull-faced dark entity behind him. And he's like, okay, fair enough. That's something to be scared of. And the thing introduces itself as Decay, and it's here to attack Dr. Psycho. And Dr. Psycho's like, is there literally anybody who's not able to see me? Like, this is supposed to be a secretive thing. But regardless, Sarah runs off and Dr. Psycho gets grabbed and Decay rips off part of his astral being. And then Superboy smacks him upside the head on his real body and says, hey, you were screaming. Stop it. And he's like, okay. Let me tell you what just happened. I met a giant skull creature and it ripped off my astral arm, which is not something that's supposed to happen and feels like part of your soul being ripped away. And Superboy's like, okay. And then all of a sudden he feels this presence trying to get into the apartment. And Superboy's like, did you just lead that thing back here? God, I hate you, Psycho. And then busting through the door is Crypto, who's just here now. And Superboy's like, oh yeah, it's Crypto. He'll be joining us now, I guess. So they go out and find Sarah again, this time in their actual bodies. And Sarah bumps into Superboy, and she's like, Superboy, oh God, you got to help me. This thing is showing up, and it's trying to kill me, and I need somebody to protect me. And Superboy's like, whoa, okay, hold down there. I'm not entirely sure what's going on right now. And then we see, for whatever reason, they're really interested in Crypto. Like that he's here, and there's like, is that a dog? Why is the dog here? And it's like, that doesn't matter. Point being, you need help. We just need you to talk to us. That's all we need. So they go to a diner, and I really can't overstate how many little just throwaway gags they have here. Like Superboy doesn't know what a quiche is, and Dr. Psycho's like, nobody knows what a quiche is. And all of the patrons in the diner are really scared of Crypto being there for no reason. It just keeps happening. But regardless, Dr. Psycho says, okay, well, tell us what your name is. And she's like, Sarah. And I go back 3 pages to when Dr. Psycho called her Sarah. But hey, screw me, I guess. And then they say, all right, here's the deal. She remembers a hospital, and in the hospital, some doctors are doing some tests on her. That giant skull creature showed up and killed the doctors, and then everyone in the hospital ran away, and it's been chasing her ever since. And he's like, yeah, that was a Hive facility. I was in there. We're hunting them down. We're trying to find them. Decay, I don't know why it killed the doctors, but it sounds like it belongs to Hive. So do you have any more information on it? Superboy takes a bite of his quiche, says it tastes rotten. And then Sarah's like, oh no, rotten things. That means Decay is near. And then Decay just shows up and grabs Sarah. And Crypto grabs Sarah out of Decay's hands. Superboy tries to use his powers on it, doesn't do anything. And when he goes to throw a punch, it also phases right through. And he's like, okay, so I am unable to touch you. That's an issue. And Decay's like, but I can touch you. And he wraps his claws around Superboy, and it's like, oh no, my skin, it's literally rotting off my my muscles. And so Dr. Psycho goes astral, and Crypto jumps in to save Superboy. And as Dr. Psycho tries to wrestle with Decay in his astral form, it also doesn't work. So he's like, okay, well, he's not there astrally or physically, so he's not there at all. And then he says, I have an idea. And he goes over to Sarah and threatens her with a knife. And all of a sudden, Decay just disappears from the fight he's having with Superboy and reappears over top of Sarah. And Psycho comes to the conclusion of, okay, this Decay thing is what Sarah's powers are, because she didn't know what her psychic powers were. She's never manifested them, but because Hive was interested, clearly she had some power. And so her power is to manifest this Decay thing as like a protector. And so at that point, it's still threatening people. It's still like is possibly harmful to her. So Superboy says, Sarah, you've got to stop this. You wanted me to protect you. Let me help you. You've just got to be open to it. And Sarah's like, I don't want to hurt anyone. And she's like, good enough. And so Superboy grabs Sarah's arm, pulls her out of Decay, and then uses his telekinetic powers, to put her in a temporary coma by just taking all the blood out of her brain for like a few seconds, which I feel like would be worse than a coma, but I don't know medical science, so sure, whatever. And Dr. Psycho puts her into a dream where she's just totally happy and totally fine, so that way Decay has no reason to manifest again. And they say, okay, so now you get what Hive was doing to people. Are you in Superboy? And Superboy's like, this sure seems a whole lot like Harvest. So yes, I'm in, because this is the only plot I know. And that's it. They're just saying that they're ready to strike back at Hive and jump in wherever Hive comes to. I gotta say, I'm not sold on the Superboy Dr. Psycho thing. I'm not entirely sure I should be at this point, but like, they're doing nothing to sell me the Dr. Psycho. Because like, even if you've never read comics before, you see Dr. Psycho comes up, the first thing you're gonna do is just like Google him. Be like, who's this guy? What's he doing here? Because they expect you to know Crypto. But then, like, you would see he's a villain. Because he is a villain. And so I guess I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. But the story's playing it totally straight. Where it's like, no. Dr. Psycho's a good guy now. And he's totally against, like, Hive and all this extra stuff. So I don't know what I'm supposed to think yet. And generally, it's messy writing. I'm not having a good time. Like, I've never had a good time with Superboy. But, like, especially now. Because it doesn't even feel like it's Superboy anymore. It feels like it's Dr. Psycho featuring Superboy. So I'll give this one like a 6. Nah, I changed my mind already. I'm giving this one a 5.5. It's just not good. It's not a good book. It's not the worst thing ever, but like, it didn't make me angry. It's just not good. So 5.5 is the highest I feel safe going to.